Minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello and welcome to my squeaky chair. I'll try not to move much. I'll do like core exercises and maintain some, what would that be? Maintain something. Not move. Sounds sort of like my bones in the morning. Hello and welcome. I think I said that to Friday, September 28th. This must be the last Friday of September 2012. For whatever that means. Nothing in particular. Hey guys. There's something so wonderfully rich and ironic about...
Are we doing this today?
Next week.
Next week. Carry on.
Well, who was anxious? Or who was eager?
No, I just got confused about it.
You want to come in and say something? Come on in. This is Potter. He got mixed
Hi.
up. He got mixed up.
You can't mess up the dates on me. I'm used to a very...
Hey, what are you saying? I shouldn't be a Jew? What am I supposed to do?
saying you shouldn't be an observant Jew.
Well, so there you are. So
I put on my nice shirt for this, you know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So, you got anything burning in your gut that you need to talk about today?
No, so it's good that that it's not today. No, the voter ID thing, Bill Peduto running for mayor, it's all
Yeah, right. I was just about to launch into voter ID just because of the luscious, the rich, the unbelievable news that we hear now that the only voter fraud that has been turned up in the United States can be laid directly at the feet of
a Republican firm.
Of a Republican firm.
Shocking!
Registering dead people, registering people who all have the same address at some auto dealership, paying people to go out and get registered, and they're saying, oh, it's just a few bad apples. What does this sound like? I get some deja vu thing happening here. It's all the things they accused Acorn of doing,
exactly.
And of running Acorn into the ground. And here they are. What else are they doing that we haven't figured? They've been less than subtle about the voter ID legislation.
Well, isn't it probably the same thing, that it was just a company trying to drive up its numbers, so it was just faking people's signatures?
I have no idea how they were compensated. Do you think they were compensated by signature?
I don't know.
By signature?
Maybe. Sure, why not?
I don't know.
Republicans, they believe in performance.
Hey,
metrics.
So there you have it. That's funny. And now because the polls are just sort of uniformly saying it's pretty much over, it's a riot to watch the Republicans now actually saying that the polls are part of a general media conspiracy. Yeah. What will their capacity to somehow not tolerate reality, does it know no bounds? And if they
If you didn't believe global warming, why would you believe poll numbers?
I guess that's true.
Especially, I mean, you don't,
But so what they're setting up is when and if Obama gets reelected, they will say
noisily insist
that it is an illegitimate victory.
Yeah, I mean, that already happened in Pennsylvania. A few months ago, when the voter ID was in its final lap in the state legislature, Robert Gleason, who's the chair of the state GOP apparatus, said he found it highly suspicious that in 2008, 87% of Philadelphians voted for Barack Obama. And he thought that was very suspicious there would be such a margin. And of course, in fact, the polling data up until that point showed no, in fact, that's totally consistent with where people in Philadelphia were at with that stuff.
Exactly
but, so you discredit it. And, I mean, this whole voter ID thing, one of the funny things that, some of us have noticed about it is you've got this Republican effort to discredit the results of elections they don't like and insist that, these Black Panthers are running around and scaring voters off and blah, 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 and sort of trumping up all these ridiculous accusations. And then they turn around and they say, the reason we need voter ID is to reassure people about the integrity of the voting process.
Thank you very much, because that's the next point I wanted to make. Their concerted effort to create a cynical American public.
Right.
Is unconscionable.
Yeah.
And they've been extremely successful because it's been what they've been up to for as long as I can remember now, decades.
Yeah,
is to make Americans distrust any and all institutions.
Yeah, so it's and this is and then they're the ones with the solution. What a wonderful they create the problem and then they create the quote unquote solution. The one thing, this voter ID thing, I don't think it's clear what this Commonwealth Court Judge Simpson is going to do.
This judge sounds like he's tying himself into knots.
Yeah, so now his answer, it sounds like, is going to be if you don't have an ID, you can vote by provisional ballot.
But you still have to come back.
No. That seems to be what he's saying. He says as long as your name is on the list of registered voters, you won't have to produce ideas. It sounds like, based on what he was saying yesterday. I mean, I wasn't there, and the hearing wasn't televised, but that's what other media accounts are saying. That seems to be where he's going, which is just like, I mean, that's the perfect judicial compromise, in that it satisfies nobody.
Absolutely nobody. And the reality is the law stands, does it not?
Yeah,
the law stands.
Yes, and of course, the concern for the ACLU and for groups who are opposed to this is, look, right now you're telling people they have to have IDs. People are going, and there was testimony to this effect yesterday. People going to the PennDOT offices. They're going to Department of Motor Vehicles. They're spending hours there, and some of them aren't getting out with IDs. So there are people now who are already convinced, well, I can't vote. What are you going to do? Launch another $5 million education campaign to say, oh, that stuff we were saying before, guess what? If it turns out you don't have a voter ID, you can do this provisional ballot.
Well, you look at the money that is being wasted on this by the state government on something that is totally manufactured, concocted as an effort to suppress the vote, and it looks like it's going to be somewhat successful.
At least partially successful, yeah. I mean, and the funny thing is, of course, and I wrote this on in a call about this week. Rich Fitzgerald came out with this idea of having the county issue its own IDs,
right?
And the funny thing about that, and every step that the state takes to minimize these burdens and these obligations, just angers the people who are for voter ID in the first place, and Daryl Metcalf, the eminence from Granbury, PA, has basically said, hey, this isn't the law I wanted. I wanted to make it harder. I don't like these things they're doing to make it easier. So it's just, you just end up with this law that with every passing hour, some new rule comes out, some new decision gets made. It defeats the purpose of the original bill, which was a terrible purpose in a way, or at least it undermines it. And in the meantime, it's just creating more confusion for everybody. It's just, it's an embarrassment.
It's an outrage.
Everyone should be embarrassed.
Outrageous.
We have now achieved true bipartisan anger and embarrassment, I think. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So good work for Daryl Metcalf and everyone else.
Yeah. Okay, so Rich Fitzgerald trying to give Bill Peduto a boost right before he even announces for the mayor of Pittsburgh, and giving him $8,000, which is much as you can give, maybe
even more by some
and maybe more. I think the law says you can give $4,000 in the primary and then $4,000 in the general. But Peduto said he wrote that law, and it looks like who knows.
I did a lot. This first came up last year in the municipal elections, and I spent a lot of time looking at that issue. And it's true. What the law says is, the campaign limit is per election cycle, I think is how it goes. So, and the federal government defines election cycle as the primary is one election cycle and the general election is another election cycle. The problem there obviously is in the federal law, you have to basically say which election cycle the contribution is for. They're right. Literally, there's a little box you got to check for each contribution that says which one. There's no similar way to indicate that on local election forms. Of course, the problem is that in Pittsburgh, a one-party town, the money really gets spent in the primary. So, essentially what you've really got effectively is Pittsburgh has contribution limits. They're just effectively twice what
exactly what they appear they are. So Peduto, I have little doubt this is an extremely capable man who's worked extremely hard. You cannot help but be impressed by his. I don't know. He really has a zeal for this kind of work.
Yeah.
But he's not a great, back slapper, and he just doesn't come across to people. There's not a lot charisma, I guess, and I think that's his biggest problem, is it not?
Yeah, I do. I think there are a couple of problems, and that's one of them. Conversely, is Luke Ravenstall necessarily a glad hander in the kind of way that I think people think of? I don't know that he is either. He's certainly more entrenched in the party, and he has the name. He's
got the name. He's got a narrative that people like. The kid. He's
he's not a kid anymore. I think that's the difference.
He'll be a kid forever in our. He's just the little kid from the north side.
Yeah. I think the other side. I think the other thing that Peduto is going to have to overcome, and I have an interview with him that's up online now if people are interested that we did last night. The other thing he's going to have to overcome is he had this abortive run in 2007 where a couple months before the primary he basically called it off. And so I think there's very naturally going to be some people who feel about Bill Peduto the way they felt about the Pittsburgh Pirates, for example. You broke my heart once. Why am I going to let you do it to me 20 more times? So that's just something he's going to have to overcome. I do think that the significance of the Fitzgerald contribution is it suggests, unlike in 2007 and unlike in 2005,
that he's got some serious.
There are some heavyweights behind him, and Peduto in his own right has become kind of a heavyweight. If you look at the 2009 municipal elections, where allies of Peduto's in the South Hills won, Natalia Rudiak won. If you look at this past spring, where Peduto supported Aaron Mulchaney in the South Hills and Ed Gainey in the eastern part in state rep races. These are candidates who represent areas outside that sort of East End enclave.
Who owe him?
Who he's now sort of built some bridges. As a result of these campaigns, his campaign folks worked on some of these folks. They've now had sort of face-to-face interaction with ward chairs on winning campaigns, and that's important. That stuff has a tendency to pay off. So we'll see. I think this is This is shaping up to be a much different campaign for him than 2007 or 2005 when he also ran a race that nobody thought he'd win.
However, if, as has been suggested, you get Jack Walker, Wagner, excuse me, Jack
Walker.
Who's Jack Walker?
I don't know. Isn't that a kind of whiskey or something? Johnny Walker. Sorry. Yeah, thanks. His friends call him
brother.
Jack.
Yeah. Jack Wagner. And
didn't we just do a George Thorogood lyric right there? Is that not what that was? Anyway, go ahead.
And I was going to say Wally Lamb. Do you know who Wally Lamb is?
I don't. The name's
an author.
Okay. Michael Lamb.
Yeah.
City
Those two are generally believed to want to run too.
Sure.
Okay, so if they get in, we got the usual thing going on, which is splitting, the vote all over the place, and Roethlisberger.
What's going on with this show?
What's wrong?
Wow, I'm glad I came here.
Take over immediately.
I'm glad I was here to see the dissolution, just the utter collapse.
I have a reason for that. Were we not listening to that parody Big Ben song right before I had Roethlisberger on my head?
So what was? I'm sorry. Was there? Now you've lost it entirely.
Ravenstall.
Yes.
Well, they're both odd names.
They are.
And they're both long names beginning with an R.
Right. People make that, and they both have played football at one time or
And
another.
they both played football.
Yeah.
And they're both, big men in town.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so you're concerned, I think, is what you're building to. Is this concern about splitting the anti-incumbent vote?
That is correct.
3 different ways. So I think that's what you're trying to say. And I mean, obviously, that's a legitimate concern. I mean, I think, I've talked to people, not Peduto himself, but people in his camp about that. One of the things they say is, look, Wagner's entrance in the race might actually be a good thing for Peduto, because Wagner's going to appeal to a certain demographic, older voters especially,
that might vote
who
for
might otherwise might support Roethlisberger for mayor. Exactly. And because of the write-in option, they can do that if they want. And probably have, actually. So there's that side of it. I think Lamb is a little trickier because both Lamb and Peduto are running sort of as these younger guys who believe in sort of progressive reforms and things like that. There's much tighter overlap between the two of them. So, my sense is weirdly that, Peduto might be more worried about Lamb than about Wagner, even though I think Wagner's the bigger name to people.
Yes, indeed, is.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. I think to that point, what the other thing that happened that's significant about Fitzgerald getting behind him is what Fitzgerald has done is now sort of suggested, is telegraphed to all of his funders and the people who back him.
Right.
This is my guy. He says he's not doing that, by the way.
But of course he's
I mean, the action speaks louder than the words.
Right.
This is my guy, and what that effectively does is potentially dry up some sources of funding for Lamb. And so, if you're Michael Lamb at this point, I think he's the guy who's got the problem. He's from the South Hills. So Wagner is also a threat to him.
Right.
Peduto and he are sort of competing for this progressive vote, but I think Peduto probably has prior claim to those voters. So you kind of lose that. Now you've got essentially a lot of the money that might have come his way is, Fitzgerald is now kind of trying to shunt that over to Peduto. And in fact, if you look at who are some of Lamb's other backers in his most recent city controller run, I mean, a lot of those people are people who typically have backed Ravenstall. So there's a question about where is the base that Lamb runs from at this point. It's weird because, a year or two ago, if you'd asked me, I would have said, Lamb is the guy who's really probably got the track there, partly because Peduto sort of burned, some bridges with the 2007 fiasco. But it does not seem to be shaping up that way, at least at this point.
All right. So back to national political scene. Do you think everything is too good to be true? I mean,
yes.
Is this happening too fast? Is it too? It's making me very nervous. I mean, there could be a sense of talk about way to suppress. I think Republicans say that these polls are an attempt to keep their voters away. Say, to hell with it, give up. But I think Democrats should be very concerned that this, sense that, it's in the bag, we're ahead in every state, makes me very nervous.
It's hard for me to imagine. Let me put it this way. Some of the more recent polls in Pennsylvania have shown Obama up by 10, 12 points.
Hard to believe.
It's hard for me to imagine a 55-45 split in the state of Pennsylvania.
Hey, by the way, other polls in Pennsylvania have shown that Senator Bob Casey is that race is tightening with who? Bob Smith? Is that his name?
Tom Smith.
Bob Smith. It's the kind of name you write when you're, going to a hotel with someone who wasn't your wife.
You speak from experience, do you?
No, I don't. I would be more clever than that. So I would say that I don't get that, but there's some concern. If Obama is so far ahead, one would think his coattails would take anybody with him. So I'm a little...
Well, except, I mean, I haven't really looked at it. It's interesting you mentioned that because I noted that the other day and haven't really looked at the crosstabs. I mean, I think there's... Let's face it, Bob Casey is not necessarily an energizing figure.
Do you know
he
even has, even when he says, "My name's Bob Casey," and he sounds. I'm sorry, but he sounds like an obscene phone caller because there's a whispery
Maybe that's
kind
the
of.
problem.
Well, it might be. It's like he says, "My name's Bob Casey."
Actually, that sounds kind of sultry.
I know, but that's what he does, and I support this. And
I've drawn you a bubble bath.
Yes, indeed. It drives me. His voice and manner drive me insane.
Yeah.
Because the first time I interviewed him when he was on my show, I actually started screaming at him. I said, "Can't you show some passion?"
That's not how I roll, Lynn.
No, and you know what he said? Wait. That's what my wife said.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, that was funny, actually. Can't you? I mean, could we get your blood pressure up a little bit here? It's hard to get excited about a candidate who never modulates his voice. Well, haven't you heard him speak?
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we even name an issue in that race?
No. He's a classic Pennsylvania Democrat who wins statewide office. He's against everything Democrats are for. He's against gun control.
Right.
He's against access to abortion. He's against I don't know. And yet, these same voters vote for Barack Obama. You tell me what's going on.
Well, I mean, I don't know that, that it is quite the same people.
And Toomey votes against the veterans' job bill.
Yeah, yeah.
Despicable.
Yeah.
He helped write it. He was a co-sponsor. How do you do something like that?
They took language from another piece of legislation that he has on the same thing and just incorporated into that bill, and he still ends up voting against.
We have two, by the way, of the wonkiest, palest, nondescript senators representing any state in the union. That's who we got.
Well, but then what are the other option is some colorful nut job.
Like Rick Santorum?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we might actually just be better off this way.
Hey, guess what? You got to leave.
Okay.
Guess why?
Why?
Because I have a guest.
Man, I'm sorry. I feel bad. I just kind of came barging in here because I was like running I was so worried about being late.
Will you come in next Thursday? Mr. Sokolowski will not be here.
Oh, dear.
And on Wednesday, your normal day, I will not be here.
But you can't. But see what happened when you changed it up.
I know. I'm just saying next week. That's it. Thursday.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on your show. I felt.
Oh, it's always good to see you, and I know the audience missed you.
Because Jess was just like, you make sure you come, and then I got the days wrong. I know, I got the days wrong, but I was just like, I can't let Jess and Linda, so I apologize. Can I say happy birthday to my mom, because it's her birthday, and sometimes she listens. Happy birthday, Mom. Sorry I didn't send a card. I'm the best, worst son ever.
Well, what's a card? I mean, it's just money in Hallmark's pocket.
Right.
So, happy birthday, Mrs. Potter. Or not.
No,
Is that her name? Yeah. Yes, Mrs. Potter. You never know these days.
No, you don't. And it hasn't always been Mrs. Potter, so.
Oh, there you go.
All right.
So, okay.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Okay, we do have to take a break, guys.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Go to bergbargains.com for great deals on tickets to the Science Center, City Theater, History Museum, Carnegie Museums, and some of the best restaurants in Pittsburgh. This week, get 50% off admission for two to the Pitts-burgher at Rivers Casino. bergbargains.com. Local deals, local merchants. bergbargains.com.
Okay, I'm going to try it one more time, okay? I want you to listen up. I want you to look into your souls. I want you to imagine your life changed in a way. I want you to rouse yourself from your usual routine. We can all use being shaken up on occasion. I want you to imagine that you're going to do what I now am going to suggest that you do, and that is to call the Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council and to say to them, I really would like to learn how to help someone learn how to read. I can't think of a better thing to do. It sure beats, and you fill in the blank there, beats watching a soap opera. It sure beats sitting staring at the wall. It sure beats, reading some crap book. Help somebody open up their entire life by teaching them to read. Be a volunteer tutor. Be somebody who actually changes someone else's life. And perhaps your own. Okay? I'm serious. Let me give you the phone number. All right? Write it down at least. Humor me, if nothing else. 412-393-7600. And you can also check out their website. See the wonderful work they do. gplc.org, Greater Pittsburgh Literacy Council. Get that right. .org. Change a life, change 2 lives, 3, 4, change your own. Think about it.
There will be readings in over 600 cities in 115 countries. 100,000 Poets for Change will take place on Saturday, September 29th at 7 p.m. at Awesome Books located at 929 Liberty Avenue downtown. Peace and sustainability is a major concern worldwide and the guiding principle for this global event. Featured readers include Jimmy Savetic, Christiane D., and Don Wentworth. There will be an open mic after the readings, free to the public, open to all ages. For more information, call 412-606-1220.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn@pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Hey, just a heads up that later in the show, we're going to be giving you a sneak peek. It's not really, it's an audio peek of some of the hilarious parody songs that are part of this year's Off the Record musical review. That's how I had Roethlisberger on my mind. Big Ben, because that's one of the songs. Anyway, however, now I want to give you a heads up about another event. Anyone who says there's nothing to do in Pittsburgh ain't paying attention. For instance, tomorrow. Tomorrow you can go to that Rivers Casino on the North Shore, and you don't have to gamble. I myself do not. All you have to do is eat. Oh, man, eat. Now, I got a woman on the line who's going to tell you, you got to eat burgers. Diana Rua is the woman who's put this event together. Diana, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, so this is an effort to find the best burger in the burg?
Yes. I mean, it is a combination of a music festival and the culinary competition on who's got a really great burger out there. In addition to, we have some local vendors that will be selling their wares for the event as well. We've got 6 bands that are going to be playing from 1 to 7, and we're really excited about it. All benefiting the American Liver Foundation. Okay. So this is an opportunity. This is one of these great opportunities to have a really good time, and knowing that the price of your ticket is going to an organization that does incredible work in research, prevention, treatment, cure of liver disease. Tickets are, I note, that you can get in for just $15, and $15 gets you what? You get a sample. You get 3 samples from any of the any of the restaurants.
Okay, so you get
there is
$3
a $35 ticket,
which
that
gets
you samples from all of the restaurants.
Woo-wee! And
yeah.
$35, you can eat your way through the casino.
100%. Yes.
Well, and I should say, in the interest of full disclosure, that I intend to be one of those people.
I know. We're excited to have you.
Yes, I am actually going to be a judge. How many judges are there? I would hate to have too much of a burden on my shoulders.
Well, you're going to be in some good company. We have actually the Soup Nazi from Seinfeld that is going to be one of our celebrity judges alongside you.
Oh, he's scary. Is he going to be screaming at me?
Yeah, he'll be real fun. He's real fun, too. So he'll be there all day signing autographs and presenting the plaques at the end of the evening. There'll be a first, second, and third prize. And then we're going to be doing a People's Choice that will be an online voting happening at the casino, actually live there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great event. Amstel Light will be there with their beer products, and it is a 21 and over event, and we're really looking forward to it.
Wow. So the Soup Nazi. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soup Nazi's turning burger for a day.
Oh, geez. Can you name some of the can you name some of the restaurants whose burgers are being offered up for this competition?
We have Sauce, which is in Bridgeville. They have a fabulous burger that they do actually on an iron skillet. We've got Melange in town that is also doing one of their signature burgers. Wing Hearts, which I haven't gotten to try yet, but I hear that they've got a great burger as well.
Now, I have to tell you, I think I have told people I think that's the best burger I've eaten in town. Does that disqualify me as a judge that I already think that I know which one it is?
I think that they're just going to have to work. The other ones will just have to work harder to win you over.
Okay. The Wing Hearts, the one thing they need to work on is their bun. Their bun doesn't match up to the burger.
To the meat.
No.
They're all about the meat. Right?
Yeah, but the burger, though, the burger constitutes, there's bread involved, too, and that's an important aspect. Ooh, yeah. I get to eat one. Ooh, goody. And what else?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be great. There'll be, a photo booth that's there, and you'll be able to see people getting their pictures taken behind a green screen, and that will be televised on a TV there. Like I said, a lot of local vendors. So Addicted will be there with her Steeler gear and Flawless Fashions, and a lot of local artists are going to be there. So plus we have some great bands. We've got Love Betty headlining, and we've got Sundog 6 and Kelly Mays, who is, a staple of Pittsburgh, just coming off our tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be great. I mean, there's going to be a lot of festivities down there.
Okay, and the weather's supposed to all this. See, the sun's coming out. It's going to be a beautiful day. And the amphitheater, it's in the amphitheater, which is that outdoor space on the river?
Correct.
Ooh.
Everything is outside of the casino. So the burgers will be all under a big tent. And then the vendors will be down by the river walk, and of course the amphitheater is where you will be able to see all the bands.
Okay, and I want to get this straight, Diana. Sure. Now, how many different burgers are there going to be in the competition? Did you say?
There are over a dozen burgers that are in the competition. Some people are doing more than one burger. So, like I said, it's going to be pretty. It'll be pretty interesting. The competitive nature of the Pitts-burgher is not just on a field. It's definitely on the grill.
Well, yeah, but you mean, so I at minimum have to have 12 or 13 or 14, depending on what it is, bites of burger tomorrow.
Yes, and those burgers are all samples, so I don't want to intimidate people by thinking that they're going to go in with a full-size burger. They're all samples of the burgers, so in fairness to the restaurants, us being able to have everybody taste every burger.
So they're more like a bite. They're a little mini, even maybe half a slider.
Correct. Correct.
So, but that still means I got to eat like what? 10
Probably
sliders?
about 2.5 burgers. I mean, I'm hungry.
Jesus, God. I will. I ain't having breakfast, I'll tell you that, and I ain't having lunch.
Yeah, you're not. We'll be able to feed you those entire 6 hours, I feel.
So that's tomorrow on a beautiful day on the river. $15 will get you in. $35 will get you, you can eat your way through the place and you get a beer on top of it. And all that music and all that fun stuff going on, and the casino. I mean, sounds like a wonderful, wonderful time. 1 o'clock it opens up?
We start at 1 and we end at 7.
Okay. Fantastic. I'll see you there.
Great.
Diana.
Looking forward to it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, boy. Oh, dear. Oh, my. I guess I ain't going to start my diet tomorrow, huh? Jeez. Oh, man. I love nothing more than a burger. I'm such an unsophisticated eater. And that if you were to ask me, what is your favorite meal? To this day, my favorite meal is exactly the favorite meal I had when I was 6. Hamburger and French fries. Nothing makes me happier. Although sometimes I could say a big fat steak and French fries, but I'm really a carnivore and I'm into beef, and I'm sorry about that, and I know I'll go straight to hell. But I hope I see you there tomorrow. Huh? I'll be there in the second half, I would say. I got to sort of like go into training to be able to do this and not... and the soup Nazi! That's a little scary. Hey, I want to read to you an email I got last night from a guy who used to live here. He listens to the show. He listens to the show, and he sometimes listens a little late, so he's not, and he wrote me and he said, as usual, I'm a few days behind in listening, but I wanted to comment on some of the topics that came up on Monday's show. So this will remind you, on Monday's show, I was talking about riding in and just feeling so down about the opportunities, the reality of being a young black male in Pittsburgh. And what was in my mind was the hostage taker and these what was driving me crazy that day? Well, there were a whole bunch of stories that I was taking in. These two guys, the rappers I had talked to, the guy from Haiti in South Florida who was the violinist, just all of a sudden this sort of confluence of young black men in America. And my heart was bleeding, as bleeding hearts do. And Michael wrote me this. He got into some other things too, but I just want to, because I was saying, and I remember the real thing was Michael Chabon, who spent his adolescent years here in Pittsburgh and went on to become, one of the, generally, I think, better novelists, living American novelists now. Michael Chabon, who has a new critically acclaimed book out, in an interview was saying that he had never encountered anything like the racism that he saw when his family moved to Pittsburgh. He had lived in Maryland, and he said he'd lived in a relatively integrated community, blacks, whites, taking school together, friends, and he was just blown away. And he's talked about this, right? This is, as I said, this was hardly the kind of thing that the Greater Pittsburgh Convention and Visitors Bureau would want advertised. Anyway, here's Michael hearing that, wrote this. I moved away from Pittsburgh 11 years ago now, and have spent most of that time living in New York City, but also spent portions of it in Houston, Texas, and visiting other cities. Every time I come back to Pittsburgh, despite my great affection for the place, I feel like I've stepped back at least 40 years in American race relations. Believe me, he's not the only one who says this. I completely agree as well. He goes on, it is the most curious thing because in places all over America, people experience a true peer mixing of race, or at least a very upbeat sense of vivid blending in of non-white cultures. Down here in Houston, there's a very congenial integration of Mexican people into society, where by contrast in parts of Florida and presumably Arizona, the relations are more prickly. There are vibrant Asian and African American communities down here in urban Texas as well. Although after Katrina, there was quite a diaspora of homeless black people from Louisiana, and it's taken a while for that absorption to evolve. But imagine the culture shock for me, who lived in Queens for so many years in international neighborhoods of modest income in which white was often the minority. And after riding every day in subways side by side with interesting, motivated, and quirky people of every race and background, when I would come back to Pittsburgh and suddenly, instantly, overwhelmingly find myself revisiting an America of a bygone age, where disenfranchised young black men and women wait on street corners for their buses to take them back to their entirely non-integrated neighborhoods, and where there is still a palpable sense that black and white are born enemies, distrustful, resentful, as wary with each other as warring tribes in the former Yugoslavia. I mean, by contrast, ironically, he writes, go to so many large southern cities, Atlanta, Raleigh. Every time I go to those cities, it's almost as though a kind of South African transformation has taken place, and the cities are filled with vibrant, empowered black people at various economic levels, in high positions, in government, business, culture. It's almost as though because of the huge distance both sides of the racial divide had to travel to move forward from slavery and institutionalized Southern racism, their progress actually took place and is evident triumphantly in new attitudes throughout the South, at least the urban South. But up here in Pittsburgh and in certain other Midwestern cities, it is as though the cauldron of civil rights progress never actually heated up enough to change anything. Entering Pittsburgh is literally like walking into a time machine that takes you back to 1962. It's a complex problem, and one that perhaps needs to be changed as much from within the black community itself as from city government and the citizens of every other race in Pittsburgh. If only every young black person in Pittsburgh could spend a month visiting relatives in other far better cities for them, they could instantly see what is possible and maybe return more confidently home to Pittsburgh and just help make it happen here. I can't begin to suggest an easy way out of it, but it's weird and not typical of all of America, if we can feel any consolation from that. And he goes on to say, Pittsburgh is a vexing throwback to total defeat for the young black person, and it's depressing to come back and observe that so vividly. Plus the recent cutbacks at Kappa, they're a perfect example of moving in totally the wrong direction in terms of making huge progress with giving economically depressed urban young people of whatever color invigorating new opportunities. That's my friend Michael. And he just gets, you come back to Pittsburgh, you get slapped in the face with two things. Coming through the tunnel, pow, woo-wee, and this, which is not woo-wee, it is depressing. I'm sorry, but that's it, and it's the truth. And damn it, I wish we'd do something about it. We cannot waste another generation of these beautiful young people. Okay, gotta take a break.
Stick around for more with Lynn Cullen live after this.
The Pitts-burgher Burger Competition and Music Festival benefiting the American Liver Foundation comes to the Rivers Casino on Saturday, September 29th from 1 to 7. See Pittsburgh's best restaurants compete for the title of Best Burger in the Burg. Sample and vote for your favorite burger while you listen to great Pittsburgh bands and enjoy ice-cold Amstel Light. For more information and to buy tickets, go to midnightguru.com. The Pitts-burgher Burger Competition on Saturday, September 29th at the Rivers Casino. Get ready to get your burger on. Sponsored by Amstel Light and produced by Rua Media. Gambling problem? Call 800-848-1880.
Pittsburgh City Paper is available now. Pick up one today for the Stanley Clark Trio, Streb, Matthew Morrison, and News of the Weird. Pittsburgh City Paper, available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania, and on the web at pghcitypaper.com and on your smartphone at citypapermobile.com. Get Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. Go to citypapermobile.com now for Pittsburgh City Paper's brand new mobile app. Get the latest restaurant reviews, event listings, movie times, and of course, Lynn Cullen live on your smartphone. citypapermobile.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
It's too crowded anyway.
Hey, look who I got. Oh, no, you can't even see because you're not. Pull over here. That's Gary Rotstein of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. And sometimes a person who suffers through pirate games. Do you believe it?
Aren't
Do
they
you
something?
believe it?
Aren't they
How could this happen? What did they have to lose? Like 80% of their games from? Gee.
It's a miracle. in reverse, yeah.
Jeez.
I've got tickets for Sunday. They're available if anybody wants to.
It's going to be
get
a
'em.
beautiful day.
No,
You're
it's
done,
supposed
huh?
to rain. I think,
Sunday
on Sunday,
is?
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Fred.
yeah.
Okay. Gary Rotstein and his other guys has for the last, 12 years. Oh, my God. This was his baby from day one, has put together a musical, what do you call it, review?
A musical satire, I think. Musical comedy satire.
Of
Pittsburgh culture and personalities and issues and politics.
And this is tons of very funny songs and great actors. And the MC every year, Ken Rice, usually steals the show.
Which is fine.
He's worth
great.
the price of admission, I can assure you. And it's at the Byham Theater. And it's called Off the Record. And the most important thing to know is this, too, is where you get to have a ton of fun. But in fact, everything, all the money that is collected goes to the...
Most of the money goes to the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. They've made nearly $300,000 from us over the 11 years. $300,000. And then there's some money that goes to scholarship funds as well and other purposes.
Because this is put on by two unions.
Two unions, the Newspaper Guild of Pittsburgh, which is mostly people at the Post-Gazette, and SAG-AFTRA, which is your union.
That's right. That's like, actors, actresses, and loudmouths.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
I mean,
but
generally
people who know how to sing and perform,
dance and
which
perform.
journalists who work at the Newspaper Guild and Post-Gazette do not. So it's a nice symmetry.
Okay, so every year there's like a theme. You come up with some storyline that allows you to weave all these events. And I remember you telling me long ago what you thought your theme was going to be this year, and I got queasy.
Everybody did.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I thought, are you nuts? I don't see how you can... I mean, it seemed like you were dealing with an iconic figure that you shouldn't be screwing with. Go ahead,
We
explain.
want to honor August Wilson and his legacy with his Pittsburgh cycle of plays by parodying August Wilson and his themes somewhat. So we have several black actors and actresses kind of taking lead roles, and best of all, Salah Udine, who was a great performer in many of August Wilson's plays.
And in fact was a friend of August Wilson when they were here and was in, I think, some of the first productions,
yes,
right?
as well as being a Pittsburgh politician and civil rights activist and everything. So he has a lead role in the lead role in this.
He's a great actor, by the way. I've seen him act. He's a great actor.
And he's playing an August Wilson kind of stock character who runs the JAG office.
The JAG off is?
Yes. What it is the title of the show is Off the Record 12, Reassess This. And so he's in charge of the county assessments office. And because of cutbacks in mass transit, the assessments office is being told to take on jitney service as well for people in Allegheny County. And it's also being told to take on gas permitting as well for Marcella Shell. So it becomes the JAG office or the JAG office. It's just sort of a running joke. It's the one joke in the show this year is the JAG office.
I doubt that's the one joke. But we have a few little musical tidbits. Are these just...
No, these are from last year or 2 years ago.
Last year?
I don't think that... Yeah, just for a flavor, I believe.
Oh, the kind of thing. Well, I don't know. Do you want to? Oh, so from is the Big Ben, Bad Ben?
The Big Ben's on there, yeah.
Here's some of the fun, and this would have been, was that last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago when Roethlisberger took it on the chin in Off the Record. And here's one of the songs. Enjoy.
Every morning on the field, you could see him come. He was 6'5" and weighed 241. Broad at the shoulders, narrow at the hips. All the girls, they want to kiss the lips of Big Ben. 2 Super Bowl rings on his big hand. He was going to take his team to the promised land. A motorcycle wreck nearly broke his crown, but it took a night in Georgia to bring him down. Big Bad Ben.
Okay, so that... And, of course, it goes on and on.
It goes on and on.
Some of these songs, guys, I mean, one of the things about going to Off the Record is you laugh so hard you think you're going to die. I often I think I'm too loud at those. Can you hear my shrieking laughter throughout?
I think I think you are a little bit too loud.
I think I am.
But that's okay.
I think I can't help it. This is so much fun. And for political junkies like you guys who follow the news of the day, you get everything. I mean, you'll get everything.
Your audience is our audience, I believe.
Yes, I think that's true. And let us make clear that a lot of these people who are on stage are pros. I mean, they are pros. I was in one, as opposed to me. I mean, there's people who fill in the chorus who are not. Like, I was on stage a few times, and I once had to enter behind Billy Hartung.
Right, who's been on Broadway.
Who's been on
movies.
Broadway. He was in the movie Chicago.
Right.
And he's an extraordinary dancer. And I had to, like, come on dancing behind. Well, you know, it's like a joke.
Right.
But so this intermix of schlemiels like me and the real deals like Lenora Nemetz and Salah Udine and
so people are seeing something that is very well done. Greg Lahane, who directs, this is his 10th year directing. He runs the theater program at Carnegie Mellon University. He has directed some of the top performances in Pittsburgh over the years. It's just very polished. It's not some amateurish thing, although you would expect it to, based on the amount of time put into it, and it's sort of slapped together, but it comes
all those guys on stage are doing it a volunteer basis, and it's a lot of rehearsal. It's tough for this one big performance, but $300,000, that is unbelievable. So listen, you can get in for as little as $25. $25
is a ticket up in the balcony. Yep, this Thursday. Next Thursday, right? Next Thursday, October 4th.
Oh my gosh, this is coming up next week.
At the Byam.
Next Thursday, October 4th. So we're giving you a week's heads up. And can you get your tickets that night?
Yes.
Is it possible? You could walk up and
you can
get them.
Call the Byam now at 412-456-6666 or go to their website, or you can get them that night of the show if you need to wait. There's a big party we should mention, perhaps, in the lobby. It's quite a festive atmosphere.
Oh, it's a wonderful party beforehand.
Because the food bank arranges all this free food. I don't want to suggest you can go there and expect a dinner, but there's a lot of hors d'oeuvres provided by restaurants that want to help out the food bank. People mill around, little old ladies who all look like Sophie Maslow with sharp elbows and giant purses are clogging the aisles and the
Sophie
tables.
Maslow.
Well,
I see Sophie there every year.
She'll be there this year.
And if you want to see all the politicos are usually there.
Rich Fitzgerald will be doing. We don't usually see Rich Fitzgerald in a humorous vein, I think.
No, he's not.
But he will be there doing a monologue. We always give at least one politician a chance to do a pre-buttal, as we call it, to show their funny side before our show starts. And Tim Stevens from the Black Political Empowerment Project, he will also be doing, because of the nature of our show, we wanted to reach out to someone prominent in the African American community to give their humorous take on Pittsburgh, if you will. So he'll be doing a monologue as well.
I got to tell you guys, I see the same people every year. It's like there's a group of people that wouldn't miss this, that look forward to it year after year after year. I've never missed one.
Right.
Do I get a gold star for that or something?
Yes.
You think?
Yes.
Yeah? Free glass of wine, maybe?
No.
Jeez. And I don't know what to do to talk some of you guys who've been listening to me and Gary over the years, because you've come on, I think, almost every year to let people know about the event, that you are missing something so funny. Please give yourself this treat. It's in a week, Thursday. October 4th. Call the Byam. You could also do offtherecordpgh.com, which would send you to the right place.
That's our website, and you can link to tickets and get more information about the event to help you if you're at all confused about what we do. There are links to YouTube clips from last year's show.
Oh, cool.
The last 2 years' show. So you can see the full songs. And
well, go there and
YouTube
see how great it is.
Are very
is there
good.
Another little clip we can play? Just Marcella Shale.
Oh.
Our UPMC. Which one do you like best?
Let's do UPMC.
UPMC.
That's a little bit more upbeat.
I am Jeff Romar, and I'm better than you. I won't sell for less. I won't be number 2.
This is Jeffrey Romoff singing?
Yes.
You and me, that your skin was this bright. As long as there's a chance that I can own this town.
I had trouble understand. Give me the other one, too.
There are people laughing. That's the good part.
That's the problem.
People are actually
Audience is
enjoying
just
themselves.
Laughing and laughing. I mean, these guys, it's so funny. Okay.
The day was fine.
The air was thick.
You made some tea.
It made me sick.
Ah, yes, I remember that well.
That well.
Marcella Shell.
I told you all.
Taking a poke
Oh, the air was fresh.
with diesel smoke.
Ah, yes, I remember that well.
Last year's show was about fracking and Marcella Shell as our main theme. That was very popular.
So who else gets skewered this year? I mean, you're saying, so you're taking on the bus, the transit, the assessing, anything else?
Well, there were a lot of political corruption trials, it seemed to us this year.
Oh, so you go after Ori a little bit.
Ori and DeWeese, Bill DeWeese and John Purcell. He's from the other side of the state, but he was a former House Speaker. It's sort of funny the way real life presents us these...
Yeah, it's on a platter. Right.
Because Bill DeWeese and John Purcell, both of them former speakers of the House in Pennsylvania from opposite parties, ended up sharing a prison cell for a time in real life this year.
You cannot make that up.
And so we had to do a scene.
You can't make that up.
Right. If we had done a scene about ourselves that we invented about two House speakers sharing a prison cell, no one would believe it. But it happened in real life, so you have to make use of that.
And the fact is that DeWeese and Purcell, these two convicts now, are also great characters.
They are.
With big...
And then we had to have Jane Ori being put into the jail cell with them because of prison overcrowding issues. They have to merge together, the men and the women. And she doesn't like it, but they don't seem to have a problem with the whole concept.
Well, is there room for two sisters, too?
Oh, we don't want to.
You can't go there. You can't.
They're innocent until proven guilty, Lynn. This is still America.
Do your bosses at the paper get queasy about any of this?
They don't seem to. The Post-Gazette supports the event with advertising and all, but they are not a formal sponsor presenter in the same way that the newspaper guild is. So nobody, I don't think, in our hierarchy would necessarily want to take either credit or responsibility for anything we do, because they're and we like it because they're not in control of it. We are, the union is, and all. So it works out pretty well.
It works out pretty well. I can't wait. I don't know. I've just been I seem to be a week behind all the last few months, so that this comes. I was thinking this was 2 weeks away. It just blows my mind. So you've done it again.
Maybe. I guess people should come and see.
I seem to recall you getting sort of burned out about 2 years ago and saying, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore.
And that's what we're saying now. But
every year
we've got at least
this.
one more good one in us this year, and then we'll see.
So this is 12.
Yeah.
Off the record. It's getting like the Super Bowl. I mean, these because you use the
Roman
numerals, and pretty soon you're going to have one of those ridiculous ones that you can't read.
Goes on and on.
Yeah. Byham Theater, Thursday at 6:30 if you want to eat and drink and carouse with all these political types in the lobby. Have a ball, have fun, and then go into the theater and be entertained beyond belief by, first, Ken Rice. I cannot tell you how funny Ken Rice is.
It's a thing I'm proudest of, is I think we've helped show Pittsburgh how funny he is, because he shows himself in a different way from what he's able to do on TV. And it's all his own material. People always ask me, do you do stuff?
Wait a minute.
We don't give him material. It's him and whoever he knows.
I know the other guy who used to be we all worked together at Channel 4. He was a great producer at Channel 4, Stu Samuels. Funny guy. And Stu and Ken together.
That's fine.
Dream this baby up.
That's fine.
And
he does great.
And Ken is he could have been Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
No, he could. He's got the looks. It turns out he can sing. He can dance.
I call him Kensational, is what I say. He is.
Last year, I told him beforehand, I said, I think you're starting. What did I tell him? I said he was looking a little like George Clooney. And he did not like that.
I think maybe he gets that a lot, and maybe he's tired of it.
He's sick of it. I mean, he does lots of jokes about his eyebrows.
Right.
And he takes lots of stabs at David Johnson over at Channel 11, which is adorable because the two of them are friends.
Right.
It's just wonderful. It's fun. Miss it and weep.
Right.
Did we do that okay?
Yeah.
I think we're out of time.
Okay.
Hey, go to the game on Sunday. I mean, come on. That's you're not going to go.
No, I don't.
I'm busy. No, I am busy.
Oh, you're busy. Yes.
I'm busy. I am. Anyway, the Steeler game's at 1 o'clock.
There is no Steeler game.
Oh, there is no Steeler game? Anyway, I'm done watching
golfing.
football. I haven't told you that. I'm finished. Okay. All right. See you at the casino tomorrow afternoon. We're eating burgers till we're blue in the face. See you Thursday at the Byham for Off the Record. Thanks, Karen.
Thank you, Lynn.
Have a great weekend. Oh, yeah.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.